Previously on the Road to 9.
Yeah.
If you just if I
pretty
said his
silly,
name and
Dan.
he said I know, I'd be like,
if he said that too, I'll be like, oh, hi, Oscar, I'm Andy. He'll be like, oh, yeah, I know him. I'll be like...
If he's wearing that scarf.
Who are we chatting with today?
We are talking to Nick from the ADAT chat.
Oh, brilliant. Okay, cool. And, okay. I think he's logging on.
Yeah, he's logging on now.
Brilliant. Okay.
Cool. Hey, Nick, can you see us?
Hey guys, all clear on my end.
Yeah, you okay there, mate?
Yeah, man. How are you?
Yeah, we're fine, but we thought we were doing a video, but you're just like this still picture.
Nah, this is a video. Yeah.
It's
That's a video. See? So, what are we talking about?
Let's talk about A New Hope.
Star Wars, 1 billion years in the making, and it's coming to your galaxy this summer.
It's the oldest Star Wars in a 42-year-old story, and it's in the middle of the story.
I've had two different experiences with young people in my family watching A New Hope, and kind of figuring out is this something that is epic enough that can hold their attention, kind of, because it's so old school, and it's the way it's filmed in my head reminds me of a Star Trek film, classical, kind of slow building, and then at the end it's very modern to me with the Death Star stuff. But I think for me it still looks like a film that could be modern, but it feels very different pacing from what I think a lot of people would expect now from a film. I guess my own personal connection to it tells me that everything is perfect that happens. When I watch it, you know what I mean? That's great. These kids should love it. You know what I mean? So in my head, I think it's aged well. I guess in my head, I think it holds up as an older film in the middle of this giant saga.
It's a very oddly constructed film because it doesn't follow the conventional rules that we kind of put on a film. The bad guy and the good guy. If Luke's the main good guy, he never actually meets the bad guy. That's something instantly. But the one thing that sticks out to me, which only really I've noticed in recent rewatches, is obviously you're aware of Chekhov's gun. Yeah. You know, if you show a gun in the first act, it has to be fired by the third. Well, Obi-Wan Kenobi gives Luke a lightsaber, never comes up again. That's it. And that would be something that now, if that was in a film, we would just be inundated with cinema sins and honest trailers and Twitter threads about
screenwriting 101.
Yeah, it's this is bad writing. This isn't Robert McGee or whatever. But that never stuck. That didn't stick out to me until I was in my 30s, and I'd watched A New Hope conservatively 105 million times.
Yeah,
it's
honestly,
it's just something that
I'm at an embarrassing number now. I don't even know. It's definitely above 200.
That's all. And it doesn't take me out of the film. I don't get to that scene and go "Whoa, what is this?" If this was in a writing class, there'd be no, it doesn't matter.
I don't know if you guys felt upon your rewatch again. We've all been just rewatching it. Well, I guess we've never stopped watching it. Is it really a rewatch if we never stopped? You know what thing I remember my niece kind of jumping at, and also just me in general really appreciating the second time I was watching it with a younger person? The Jawa's first introduction. And it's really powerful and weird as hell. And honestly, that I think that was maybe, I'd imagine where a lot of the audience was oh, weird. What the heck is going on? And they probably were this is really cool because this giant beastly sand crawlers next to these tiny little minion eyeball-y guys running around speaking backwards Swahili, and Luke's just like, give me that droid over there. You know, like it's just totally normal. And it's like, whoa.
It's batshit.
That's
really.
Because the Jawas are the first aliens we saw in Star Wars, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, they are.
And just these like little dudes, and it's like Houdini and all
Yeah,
that.
that is
And
hilarious.
it's great. And like you say, and then they sort of appear, and you're like, oh my god, they've kidnapped R2. But then you see that they're just selling them.
Yeah,
and I think that's like the cool thing
industry.
that kind of
Yeah.
It's realistic. It's like, oh, these aliens just do this thing. It's not a thing of like, you know, sci-fi sometimes where it's like, okay, this is the warlike race, this is the peaceful race.
Yeah.
You know, everyone's sort of got well, this is like
They got their roles.
they got their roles, but it's like, no, this is a junk planet, a desert planet in the middle of nowhere. People are smugglers, they're drunk dealers, they're
You know what really
barmen,
it really hammers
yeah.
it home. The whole point you're making is so hammered home when he's like, this one's got a bad motivator, and then the other one's like, wah. He just like turns around and like makes this like he didn't know. You know what I mean? Like the little Jawa was like, I don't know, man. So you can just tell that they're like hoping for the best whenever they trade things.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
People hadn't seen it before, obviously in 1977, because all sci-fi previous to that was like Flash Gordon-y stuff, and you know, it came from outer space and all that.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
and then, you know, like if I'm thinking of the first Star Trek, you just meet aliens kind of dangling on strings, sort of. You know what I mean? They're like puppet, very one-dimensional entities that you interact with the Jawas when you first see them.
Yep.
There's no beginning of like, and here are the Jawas. What they are is X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, that's
Welcome
it.
to the BBC. And like, you know what I mean? It's like none of that stuff. It's just these.
David
We're already in the
Attenborough
middle of
comes
them
on.
being these scavenger dudes. Like we don't need to explain them. It's so cool.
Because they're not in. They are obviously important to the story, but they're not. Yeah, you don't need a thing of Luke saying like, "Oh, Aunt Beru, the Jawas, the local junk traders, are here." You're like, "No, we've worked it out.
Yeah.
It's there.
Yeah.
They're
It
gonna
doesn't-
serve their little purpose, and they're gonna sell the droids, and then they're gonna move on."
Not treated like idiots.
Yeah, like it's sort of you've seen what these guys do. You don't need us to explain this. Star Wars, or the presentation of Star Wars, is not about the minutia. Like it is about, you've got your story, and that's what's important, and the other stuff is just existing.
Yeah, I call it
And-
texture. Just like it's the Star Warsy texture.
That's it, the texture.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing that's like sort of been lost in like modern criticism and takes on like the new Star Wars, where it's like, I don't know, well, that's not explained and that's not explained. Like, no,
It never was
it never
friggin'
was
explained.
That was the point. It's the texture of the world. It's the same way if you go out on the street, there are some things that you can look around, you can understand, and there's some things you look around, you're like, oh, there's something happening there, but I don't know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But you have your own thing going on, and you follow that.
Right.
And that's sort of what Lucas did. He said, right, this galaxy, this universe is huge,
Right.
but Luke Skywalker's your anchor, and that's all we're going to follow. And anyone he interacts with, that's what we're going to do.
Yeah, we as he
And
learns
everything
about what
else
the
is
Force
happening.
is, we learned. We got our answers as he
Yeah.
figured out answers, and he didn't figure out every answer. He didn't get some answers until
exactly.
Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
You know, and people
That's
are mad
it.
about
Yeah.
that right now with Rey.
Yeah. Oh god.
So it's just it's hilarious because there's so many different meta layers to its poetry. It rhymes because you could say it's poetry. It rhymes with all like the backlash kind of minutia criticism stuff, but you know that'll always happen as long as Star Wars is going on. I think there'll always be a healthy group, or healthy with quotes, a healthy group of people just wanting to make fun of it.
Kind of actually making me feel a little bit shocked at some points. Like, surely you remember the prequels, and you remember how people were behaving then. You remember the special editions, and you remember how people were acting when that came out.
Yeah.
Don't you? Don't you?
I remember how I
Like, this
reacted.
is- yeah.
At first, I
Yeah.
loved it. I remember when they first came
Yeah.
out, I was like, "Oh, this is spectacular!" Because that was the first time I got to actually experience the OT in theaters.
Okay, so Nick, what now that you're an adult and you've had some time to sit on the special editions, what do you think about it now?
Well, I hate to like necessarily dive into bashing on these films, but I just kind of feel like
Are you feeling all right?
Yeah, no, I'm fine. Why?
Obviously, no reason.
you guys cool for me to keep going, or did we need to stop, or everything okay?
No. What were you saying?
Yeah, sorry.
All right.
CG. Something?
Yeah, CG. So George Lucas, you know, his whole thing is obviously pushing visual effects all the time. You know,
Yeah.
I want to change visual effects so that everybody has to do it our way. That's his whole thing. In this case, once I grew up a little bit, I literally can't stand watching the overuse of CGI in in two of the original trilogy films, or in A New Hope, especially. And it also changed a fundamental character arc for Han Solo. It started him off as just a guy that shoots first, takes out a guy when he needs to, doesn't really think about it. You know, he does kind of look like he might be a little traumatized as he walks away, staring, not blinking after he kills Greedo. The one that I have a hilarious neck movement from Han, where he's like,
and he's like an action figure.
Yeah, it basically, it's like almost Death Becomes Her or something like that.
yeah,
His
oh my
head just
god,
moves.
what a good reference.
Yeah, and that was done by, I think Death Becomes Her was an ILM project as well.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, they just like, hey, we've got this neck tech. Like, we've got to use this neck tech. Where can we
Get
use
Jim
neck
and his
tech?
neck tech.
And this is a very big concept or a big topic, but it's the difference, I guess, in either morality, God, or the approach to violence in cinema between 1997 and 1977. So in 1977, Han Solo just like shooting Greedo and just walking away,
no biggie.
throwing a coin to the bartender.
Sorry about the mess.
Woo hair.
Yeah, just like whatever. I remember watching that as a kid and like, that is so badass.
Yeah.
But then maybe by the time you get to 97, it's like, ooh, well, maybe our main character shouldn't be so callous or so cruel.
I remember that was one of the things.
I mean,
it was
that-
like Han's the good guy. And
Yeah.
I think that was.
Here's a quick question. Was that the same era, the same year, or maybe the same couple of years where they also changed E.T.?
They did.
They changed ET.
They re-released
Yeah.
ET in cinemas and they made it so all the cops or all the feds have walkie-talkies instead of guns.
What?
Yeah,
But I
it's
think
nuts.
that was deeper into the 2000s because
Oh,
I
okay.
remember they did a South Park about it, and I think the joke was that like everyone in it had a walkie-talkie. As their weapon, like.
Of course.
And that was the thing, and it was all about the boys went to the Skywalker Ranch to like plead with George Lucas to stop changing. Spielberg and Lucas to stop changing their films.
That's amazing.
And that was the thing. Like when the guards show up to kick them out, they've just got walkie-talkies. Yeah. But yeah, that there was that phase of like, Han's the good guy, and it's 1987, and he shouldn't be just shooting people.
That's
Whereas
so
in
interesting.
1977, it was like Han's the good guy. He can shoot whoever he wants.
I do have one thing though to say about George not allowing the originals to exist. I think it's a little lame because traditionally George was a very big film like archivalist historian, like keep it as it was kind of guy.
Yeah.
And he campaigned against film coloration. He was like, do not tarnish the original works. So in that case, if there's, you know, your 1977 film was archived as like this masterpiece, allow that also to be viewed by the people who made it the masterpiece by, you know, seeing it 4 billion times in that year. I think that's like just the one thing that I don't understand in George Lucas's mind, like how he can have one instance where he's so passionate about preserving films in their natural state, and then also deny something to the masses that was a film that fundamentally almost like changed the filmmaking world.
It really did. It
And
changed Western culture
I think
forever.
it's within. There's very unreasonable fan expectations that exist now, and for sure. But I think that one fan expectation of like, please give us the original. I think that's reasonable.
Yeah,
and
I think it's reasonable
Lucasfilm
too.
Should try to push to try to do something.
Well, it exists. So that what do you call it? That Academy presentation that just happened 2 months ago or whatever, where they were doing basically a couple hour long presentation of the special effects technology between the original Star Wars and Rogue One. That audience got the original despecialized projected version. Did you hear about this?
I did not hear about this.
They got to see it. So a despecialized 4K or whatever equivalent projection was shown to them. A fully remastered, none of that stuff.
It wasn't like a Harmy edition or anything. It was just the old.
No, it was
just the old
presented
print?
by Lucasfilm. It was presented by Lucasfilm to the Academy.
Oh, so maybe there's something down the. I mean, I guess you got to look
They
at
could
it.
release it for Christmas any year and it will just go nuts.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, if that ever
and
gets
it won't-
released,
it doesn't
the
change
whole
the
world,
canon.
World peace will happen. World peace will happen. Terrorism will
That's
end.
Yeah.
Like literally, nobody will fight
Yeah.
anybody ever again. So release it, Lucasfilm.
Well, it's like Blade Runner. You can get the final cut, you can get the director's cut, you can get the original
Yeah.
cut, you can get the voiceover cut. You can access these movies in different forms,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's up to you which one you prefer.
that would be the only reason I'd ever buy that entire 9-set series, because I can't fathom buying another series of Star Wars DVDs right now with all the other stuff I have to pay for.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
It's like I bet that's gonna be like $300 or it's gonna be some obscene amount of money.
Well, it's not just George as well that is likes to change and mess with things, like fans like to do it too. So Nick, have you seen the Scene 38 reimagining?
I have. And I have a lot of weird stuff to kind of say about it.
Sean, you're frozen. You all right?
yeah. Just I'm quite warm actually. Got my jacket, got my little pull thing. I'm good.
That's not what I meant.
Have you been exfoliating? You're looking mighty sharp.
Well, thanks, Nick. That's lovely. Yeah, no, I went and had shaved off the beard. I went and had like a full pampering razor shave. 2 hours in the chair.
Yeah. Let's get back on topic. Sean's being weird. Yeah. So Scene 38. You've seen it?
Yeah, so I've recently watched it. Do you guys have it queued up at all?
Yeah. Do you want to watch? Let's
maybe
watch
we
it.
can just
and-
play it. And
Yeah.
like,
Let's watch it together.
We can just talk about it. So
Yeah,
let me
all
give you guys a countdown. So 3,
I've already
2,
play.
1, and click. All right. A long time ago in a fan's basement far away. So yeah,
And there's this weird voiceovering at the start. Now, I guess they're setting the scene of everything that's happened before this, which is it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I get why I've done it. You wouldn't put that in the film. I don't think.
you know
Or
what's hilarious?
Maybe you wouldn't.
I thought that my
What?
I thought that my computer was on quarter speed, but it's just that they slowed down the Death Star so much that I forgot that it was stuttering.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. So none of the intro really bugs me until we get into the duel, which I think is where, for me, as a big fan of how restrained everything was, this whole thing just falls apart for me.
Yeah. Right here, where Vader is walking, and it's like that upshot and how frantically he's walking.
This looks.
Well, it's this. Where he does the little
when he-
force thing to take it out of
now
his
we're
out of
JJ
his
flaring.
belt. Yeah, a lot of that. And,
Video game
yeah.
animatic or cinematic.
Especially if you consider the last time previous to this, technically, that you saw Obi-Wan fight, it was against Maul.
Wait, hold on. This bit, I hate that bit with Vader standing in front of the closing door. It's just like, yeah, we just saw that in Rogue One.
Yeah.
Literally.
It's very much the Rogue One
Yeah.
thing. Yes, I mean, that's the last time you've seen Vader in Rogue One.
Yeah.
That's repeating. But then the last time you saw Obi-Wan is when he was fighting Maul in the desert, and it was very
Yeah.
cool and very restrained and very
Yeah,
skillful.
yeah. I like the close-up pull, like the camera pulling in on Obi-Wan's face.
Yeah, the other thing too for me is like the use of angles. There doesn't seem to be a rhyme or reason to what was rendered out
No.
or filmed. Like,
no.
there's just a loss of sequencing to my editing brain because like I edit things, so just watching it happen.
Yeah, you are an editor. That's
Yeah,
your
like
job.
watching this, and that freaking compositing half face thing. No, I'm sorry, that scares me.
Yeah.
It makes me upset.
Yeah.
It's too floaty.
Yeah.
Too much movement.
Yeah, there is too much movement.
Now, and I
Okay,
can
how do you feel about this? The force objects and stuff, and Vader's arm fire.
So if this was in A New Hope, I think this would have lost everybody because now things are flying around
that bit
aimlessly during like the most intense lightsaber duel that has never happened before 1999. And
Yeah.
I think it would just be too frenetic for people back in the day anyways. And the classical
Yeah.
filmmaking is what makes the
But
saber
what about
good.
now, though? Like, so I guess like from a reimagining perspective, okay, if this were to happen today, and actually let's go back to like talking about respecializing things. What if they said, hey, we want to make all the old films have a bit more of the same kind of visual language? Because obviously, like, the camera moves a lot more in some of the other films than it does in A New Hope. Like, I think grass grows faster than the camera moves in A New Hope. For the most
Oh
part.
yeah,
like
I mean, it's totally like
a lot
let's
of
put like
shots.
a long lens on it. Like, I feel like
Yeah.
everything is like a 35mm lens, like with a medium shot, kind of like on sticks.
Yeah.
It's just like
Yeah.
let's have it unfold. But that's also how the 1977 things were kind of
Yeah.
going down.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the bit that I actually like. So when it cuts to the very close up, like lightsabers, it's about to come up, but yeah, where Obi-Wan and Vader are like close in with each other. The blast doors are opening. I don't like that Obi-Wan falls so much, but when they get close to each other and it starts cutting that stuff in, I actually don't mind some of it until... Yeah, so this bit, I really like this bit. Just because they keep
right
the
here.
same like little touchiness. I like this. And then the sound bites from the prequels happen. And I go, no.
See, that's what I liked about the sort of even though I don't think that just looks so silly to me. So even
Yeah, I don't like this.
even the fact that like they didn't really train well technically as like duelists for the movie back in the day. I think David Prowse lied, saying that he had skills with the
Yeah.
sword.
Oh, God, yeah.
I like it because he's like sort of afraid of his old master. At least that's how I read it.
Yeah.
He's like,
Yeah.
do I taunt this man that made me the way I am? You know what I mean? And that's kind of
Who I
all
thought
lost
was dead,
here.
and
I think
Yeah.
it's lost personally.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess the thing is as well, like, it's a weird complaint that people make about that fight not being as good. It's like, oh, because of all the history between the characters. I'm like, yeah, but when it was made, there wasn't that history.
Yeah.
The prequels hadn't been made. We didn't know any of this stuff. Lucas didn't know any of this stuff. You know, and I was saying this to Matt before we recorded. Obi-Wan calls him Darth.
Yeah.
Technically, you know what this really is? This is actually a
What?
real good example of a retcon. This
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
a retroactive continuity right here, just to like tie
Yeah.
things together arbitrarily, sort of. So, I guess
Yeah.
if people ever wanted to like figure out the definition of that word officially, it's kind of like what's happening with this
It's
saber,
basically.
Pretty much.
recontextualizing it a bit. But it makes sense. I guess. I just don't like how like I'm just a pain in the ass when it comes to visual effects. Like I'm so critical. Like I got a lot of crap for the Vader fan theory or the Star Wars theory Vader fan film because
Yeah.
I liked parts of it, but I just didn't like how it looked. So
Yeah. I mean, like from a fan film perspective, like credit to even this one, like the scene 38, like visually they've done really well with probably no fucking budget.
Oh, yeah.
So like you made that point about how if you think about the prequels and what happened then, and then watch A New Hope, and it looks like Vader is like kind of
He's like
apprehensive.
cautious.
He's being cautious. That makes sense to me, as well as the take that they've put into scene 38 here, where like they've obviously said, oh, the last time Vader saw him was Mustafar, and he's going to be angry and full of rage. And obviously that's why they've used the sound bites of Anakin like going, I hate you.
Yeah.
So they've played that aspect up
Yeah.
of it, because like, and that's cool that their headcanon says that that's the driving factor of Vader. And
Yeah.
but I think it's one of the things that actually grates me a little bit about Rogue One. As much as I really enjoy that Vader bit, I think it opens up a can of worms when it comes to Vader in A New Hope, because he is shown in kind of like vicious kind of force power ability there, and then a couple days later he's like jumpy and coy and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I did think about that, but it's one of the things. It's why I compartmentalize Rogue One in my brain as like, it's still part of Star Wars in my head, but it's like, it's more of like a, what if this happened? You know what I mean? Instead of a hard fact. I don't think it's not canon. I'm not saying that, but I'm more of the, I don't know if you guys watch E.C. Henry or anything like that.
Yep.
But I love his video on the thermal exhaust port never needing to be explained. Ever.
Yeah.
And because it already fully is explained
absolutely.
in the original trilogy, if you just take a minute to kind of think about how the plan was laid out. And he even tells everybody how many thermal exhaust ports there were and how many different ways to exploit it there were. And it was all presented in the original detail. But I do like watching Rogue One. So I kind of like have it in this like, what if it was like this scenario in my head? It like, because a lot of things happen in that movie that don't happen in A New Hope, which happens like you said, the next day.
Yeah.
That are so outrageously powerful that it's hard to kind of put the two together. So oddly, I guess I have a similar complaint that some people have for TLJ for Rogue One to A New Hope. He was never even supposed to be in that scene either. Like that was not even supposed to be the end.
No.
That was what, like within the last week or something. They were doing reshoots or something and just went, yep, let's just do this scene.
I wish we got Gareth Edwards' fully realized version, because it just ended with Vader stabbing Director Krennic through the chest. That was it. Just went.
Really?
It's like, I'm sure that's where he originally delivered his joke, because in the trailer, when you see him walking through the water of all the dead stormtroopers, Vader met him down on Scarif and just gave him the knife.
That's very Vaderish.
Yeah. So there was no like gratuitous Vader lightsaber force thing.
I do like it a lot.
I like it.
I think it's a cool scene. The music builds, and you're like,
it's one of my top fives. It's totally in my top fives out of like the Disney era for like scenes, just like for like intensity. But yeah,
maybe you gotta just look at it as being like, Rogue One is a story that, Leia told Ben Solo when he was a kid and he was doing his history, and he was like, oh, how did the Death Star? And she's like, oh, well, before we got hold of the plans.
Actually, that's kind of interesting that you brought that up, because it actually kind of reminds me of Last Shot a little bit, when Han is with like little Ben Solo, kind of like talking to him. Like maybe that happened then or something. And what's cool is like, I don't know if you guys heard this, but J.J. Abrams said that like a lot of what's in A New Hope is sort of influencing The Rise of Skywalker, and how like the story of The Rise of Skywalker is the stories of all the previous films. So it could be cool what like Ben Solo, Kylo Ren might be like pontificating on in like from like those times, like the Death Star, and like how the plans got, like pretty much like how his parents even got to where he is and to his positioning in the galaxy now.
That's cool, because then like you've got a bit of you're right, you seem a bit off.
What? No, I'm fine. What? What are we talking about?
Are you guys okay?
No, sorry, I was talking about Ben Solo. And I'm talking about the Death Star. I'm talking about Alderaan. Yeah, so, I mean, maybe that'll be it. Maybe that'll be the connection. Maybe Ben Solo will talk about Alderaan. Maybe Alderaan will come back or something.
That'd be cool.
But,
I'd be okay with that.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, he might just end up straight up recounting all or thinking about all the places his parents have been to and their involvement in the.
if we're going to go into like a full poetry, it rhymes circle, then technically I guess the movie has to end with like 3PO and R2 going off on their own.
You know what's
Same
interesting
way this
about
sort
what
of
you
stuff,
just said?
but
Yeah.
There's an unused piece of concept art in The Force Awakens, the Art of the Force Awakens or whatever, and it is just R2 and C3PO on some random planet just staring at a star at night.
Huh.
That's all it is.
I'd end on that.
And I'm like, that'd be really cool. When I was making my video about unused concept art in the Death Star, I was like, this would be really neat to see this somewhere in a frame in The Rise of Skywalker if he's poaching from this.
Yeah.
Well, if that's a last shot of the film of them two staring, like R2 and C3PO standing somewhere staring up at the night sky, that would melt my mind.
Actually, that would melt my mind as well.
If we're going by the Kevin Smith thing,
Yeah.
that would be something. If that was the last shot and it was just them two together somewhere in the Yavin 4 throne room or something, or on Yavin 4, whatever, just staring at the sky, and it's just like they've managed to survive.
Maybe,
this whole
everything's
thing.
over. It's been thousands of years, but here they are, just thinking about a time way back when.
Yeah.
Oh,
R2,
wow.
remember when?
Oh my god! I mean, that would be incredible if it was
And he
like
just
them and they're talking to like
He just starts doing his shtick.
great grandchildren of Rey and
there's
Ben
little
Solo or
R2
something.
3PO grandchildren. They made it.
Yeah, little gold R2s. Just 3PO heads on wheels.
Yeah. We've waited for this. This is what the fans wanted.
This is what they were talking about. That's obviously R2's thing that pokes out and like unlocks doors.
Oh god. Oh, the thing with the knob on the end of it.
We've made something horrifying.
Yeah, the R2 bell end. Oh god. Oh, that's funny.
Okay.
Oh god. We've gone off the rails.
All right,
It's okay
so
though.
cool. What from A New Hope do you not want to see pop up in The Rise of Skywalker?
That is a hard question. Honestly,
Yeah.
I really don't want to necessarily go to the Pillar of Heroes. What the heck? At the end.
Like the throne room.
The throne on Yavin or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't want to go back there. I know that we saw the pendant, but to me, that's something
the
more
medal.
of like Leia's just recounting her
He is
journey.
Hans. Yeah.
That's Han's pendant, and so I just don't want to go back there just for the sake of it, because there's a lot of stuff about like that's gonna be the end. Everybody will be like big statues, and I'm like, no,
Yeah.
I do not want to see that with like 11 statues of all the characters from all the different
I quite
trilogies.
like that.
You like the statues?
I like the idea.
I
of
don't like
statues.
it. I can't do
I
it.
think. Well, I guess it's not necessarily that I like it. I think because I'm stuck in this stupid Kevin Smith melt my mind thing.
Yeah, you're really stuck on that.
I know. And that's the statues, because if it's supposed to be the idea that it's a set, and that's and that's what makes me think it's going to be a statues thing, like some instant like physical
I'm
representation.
okay with the
of
idea of
legacy.
statues. I just don't like it in that location. I think it's a little like
Oh yeah, I know. I mean,
Yeah,
if you don't
yeah.
want to, yeah,
like
yeah.
Yeah.
and we did it
but-
there.
I think it is just a case of people have seen the medal in the trailer and they've just assumed.
Assumed.
Yeah,
But I mean, a medal.
that's
is
about it.
obviously
Like, there's no
mobile.
place. Like I just don't think we need to like literally go to the Lars homestead again or anything. But I'm
That's
sure
the bit
like
I
stuff
don't
like
want.
that might happen. But I think it's like
Oh,
Yeah,
Like,
I
why?
I don't need to
want
go back
the-
to Tatooine.
No, I don't either. And I don't I there's a part of me that wants to put money down to say Rey is going to stand at the Lars homestead or somewhere on Tatooine and look at the twin suns. Or Ben is going to do it. Someone's going to do it, but I don't want that.
The
I mean,
thing, though-
they just did the twin suns in The Last Jedi.
Yeah, they already did it.
I think that puts a line through Twin
they
Suns.
already did it. They can't do it
I
again.
think that puts a line under it. I think it's like, right, twin sons. We've got... Because when I was watching New Hope and you have that scene where Luke looks out at the twin sons,
Yeah.
I was like, that's
that
quite...
got
now
me.
that's quite... That scene's got a
Yeah.
lot of emotion
it's a
now,
lot
knowing what's
more
coming.
intense now.
So it'd be weird to, in like a year's time, to be watching it and being like, oh yeah. Oh, and then also Ray sees it.
Yeah.
It would just be too
so
cliche, I
kind of
think. Like, I don't think it would earn the same emotional resonance as Luke's. Because Ray doesn't... Like, if Ray gazed upon a functioning AT-AT in front of her at the end of The Rise of Skywalker walking around, then she could shed a tear and be like, I used to live in one of those. And, like, maybe it ends.
But she's seen AT-ATs on Crate.
I don't know.
That's the end.
But yeah.
Just a single tear.
Yeah, just one tear, and then it goes to like a really aggressive like anime credits or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, I just don't. I just hope he's. I hope he uses a delicate hand when he's traversing the movies. You know, that's about it. I don't want to go down memory lane like Endgame did. And Endgame made sense the way it was created in my head. I enjoy it, but I would not want to see that in a Star Wars
No, I don't
film.
want that. Yeah.
Just like
Yeah,
it's
because-
too normal, I guess.
Yeah. It's like everyone turns up at the end for the big final thing, and like I don't know, the aliens from the bar and Mos Eisley turn up, and just everyone turns up. And it's like, oh,
yeah, the
Dr. Everson's
bartender
not dead
Wu
after
Hair
all.
comes up.
Yeah.
Like Wu Hair like goes up to C-3PO and he goes, "You can come in my bar anytime." Like he finally has his redemption arc. Like they're finally boys now because they're gonna defeat Palpatine and his Red Sith stormtroopers. But you know what I will say? Something very interesting happened to me about the MCU, which I think hopefully happens to a lot of people with the new trilogy. I know that some people don't like The Last Jedi, but I don't think that's where it really started. Some people. I honestly think it really just started with The Force Awakens, and it just got a little louder once The Last Jedi came out.
Yeah, I actually would agree with that.
I remember the racism or the racist petitions against Finn from like 2014. Like I remember talking about that at my old job and being like, "Oh my god, I can't believe that this exists." But
yeah, it's the same. It's the same little groundswell. I think.
I think people say it came out against Rogue One.
But I will say, I used to not really like Age of Ultron that much. All right, but I didn't, and I couldn't really figure out why. I don't really have a good reason. It just wasn't working for me.
No, same. I had the exact same thing. I remember watching it and like I got halfway through and I was like, this just isn't clicking, and I can't explain it.
And everybody in it, I like Spader as Ultron. I think his voice performance is wicked cool. But it just didn't mean anything to me. And then I watched Infinity War, which I really, really, really like. And Endgame, which is okay. It's like good, really good, but like not as good as Infinity War to me. But those two movies, for some reason, make me now really enjoy Age of Ultron, because now I have the full picture of the Avengers 4 movies. So now, like when I watched it like 2 days ago, now that I know where it's all going, I'm like, oh my god, I'm enjoying myself watching this right now, and I caught myself feeling that way. So I posted it on Twitter, and I was thinking about it today or last night and this morning. Like, I wonder if people will feel that way about The Force Awakens and TFA if they were kind of like, or The Force Awakens and TLJ, if they weren't exactly sure of what to think about it because they didn't have all the context yet. So once they finally get it, then they can have that anxiety gone of like, well, where's it all going? Because some people like can't handle not knowing everything. So once they know everything, maybe they will change their opinions. Who knows?
Some people will remain racists and misogynists.
Oh, 100%.
But like,
Those guys
being
are
three
lost.
pieces of
Those
one
people are
puzzle,
already...
I think that's...
I mean, those people can fuck off.
They've made their money off of being dicks. So that's what they,
Yeah,
that's
true.
what they're doing.
That's it. They made that dick money.
Yeah, they love the dick money.
But I think I do hope that for people that were like reasonable but also had beefs will look backwards and be like, yeah, if it works, you know.
Yeah. No, I agree.
This is also assuming it's going to be like a perfect movie, which you know none of them are. So
how dare you? We are talking about A New Hope here. Or we were.
You know what's funny?
And it
my
is
favorite
perfect.
Star Wars film is The Return of the Jedi.
That's my least favorite.
Yeah.
Well, Attack of the Clones is everyone's least favorite.
No, I like Attack of the Clones.
But it's
more
not
than
it's
Return
not
of the Jedi.
only because of some quality thing. It's just the first one I ever saw. I was like maybe four or five, I think. So yeah, that was the first one I saw on like a VHS. So it just has that ridiculous nostalgia for me.
My skin is feeling weird.
No, mine's all right. I'm just feeling I'm okay now.
Are you guys okay?
Yeah, we're fine.
Are you sure?
Yeah, we're all right.
We can take a break if you guys need me to take a break. It's fine.
Nah, I think actually that's a wrap. I think we're done. So, thank you for joining us.
All right. Well, thanks for having me, guys. That was really fun. I'm gonna say, real quick, no weirdness. I don't know if this is weird to you, but I think you guys are looking pretty fresh. You could YouTube all night or something. How do you do it?
Well, thank you. I'm gonna be honest. I do feel a little bit strange.
Yeah, me too.
Thanks for watching, and make sure you subscribe for more on the road to 9. Hit the bell icon so you're notified about future installments, and if you like what we do, you can support us by heading over to our Patreon and contributing. Even a small amount helps keep us producing content now and into the future. Can you stand up?
No, I can't. Can you?
No. Can you reach your phone?
Just relax for a moment. You're free of the recording. You have YouTuber sickness.
I can't move.
Your movement will return in time.
Where are we?
Your recording space.
Who are you?
Someone who likes, shares, and subscribes to you.
Oh, that's a relief. How can people like, share, and subscribe to you?
Where people can find the ad chat on the YouTubes.